Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into a big one. Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The bestseller from 97.
That's right. Still incredibly popular.
Absolutely. And its core idea, well, it's this contrast between two dads. You've got his actual father, the poor dad, educated, traditional job mindset.
Uh-huh. The safe route.
And then there's the rich dad, his friend's father, self-made, totally different view on money. So our mission today for you is to unpack those, well, surprising differences in thinking that Kiyosaki highlights.
The mindset differences are huge.
Exactly. So let's start with maybe the first big takeaway, financial education, or the lack of it, really.
Right. Kiyosaki is quite bold there.
He is. He says, the lack of money is the root of all evil. That's quite a twist on the common phrase.
It definitely grabs your attention.
His argument is basically that schools teach us, job skills, professional stuff, but totally miss teaching us how to actually handle money.
Yeah. Financial literacy. He hammers that home. Understanding assets, liabilities,
Right.
cash flow.
Cash flow, just how money comes in and goes out, right? He argues that's the key to getting wealthy.
And it's fascinating how he redefines things we think we know, like assets and liabilities.
Okay, break that down for us. What's his definition?
Well, simply put, an asset puts money in your pocket. Think stocks paying dividends, or maybe rental property income.
Okay, makes sense.
A liability then takes money out, like your mortgage payment, your car loan, things that cost you money regularly.
Ah, and that's where his famous quote comes in.
Exactly. The rich buy assets. The poor and middle class buy liabilities they think are assets. Like maybe thinking your primary home is purely an asset.
Ooh, controversials for some.
It can be. But his point is focus on buying things that generate income for you. Build that asset column.
That really is a mindset shift. And it leads straight into his next big idea, doesn't it, about not working for money.
Right. Making money work for you. That's the goal.
He sees jobs as, well, maybe a short-term fix, but real wealth. That comes from passive income, your money making more money.
Without you having to trade your time directly for it.
Yeah. And this connects to his advice to mind your own business. Even if you have a day job, you should be building your own assets on the side. Investments, maybe a side business.
And he gets into using corporations, too, which is interesting.
Oh, so?
Well, he points out that the rich often use legal structures, like corporations, to gain tax advantages. They can spend on business expenses before taxes are calculated on income.
Which legally shelters some income and protects assets.
Okay, it's part of the financial literacy piece. But there's also a psychological element he stresses.
You mean overcoming fear?
Exactly, fear of losing money. He argues that this fear holds so many people back, you need to be willing to take calculated risks.
Calculated risks, right, not just gambling.
And to see failure not as the end, but as a learning opportunity. Which ties into his point about why you should work.
Work to learn, not just to earn.
Precisely. He values acquiring skills, sales, marketing, investing know-how, people skills, sometimes even more than the immediate paycheck. Those skills build future assets.
Okay, so we've covered quite a few core ideas. Let's maybe talk about the pros and cons for you, the listener. Is this book actually useful?
Good question. On the plus side, it's super accessible. Simple language, easy to grasp concepts.
Yeah, it's not dense or academic.
No. And it's fantastic for shifting your mindset about money. It really encourages thinking like an entrepreneur, aiming for financial independence. Great for beginners.
Okay, but what are the downsides? The criticisms?
Well, a big one is that it's very light on specific actionable advice.
Yeah.
You get fired up, but might not know exactly what investment to make next.
So more why than how.
Pretty much. Some ideas are maybe oversimplified too, and it relies heavily on anecdotes, Kiyosaki stories, rather than hard data.
Gotcha. So who is it really best for then?
I'd say beginners, definitely.
Yeah.
Students, young professionals, anyone feeling stuck in that job security trap and wanting a new perspective. Aspiring entrepreneurs, for sure.
Right. So final verdict.
Look, I think it's fundamentally a mindset book. And for that, it's powerful. Maybe a 4.5 out of 5. It doesn't give you a detailed investment plan.
But it changes how you think about money.
Exactly. And that's the foundation. That shift is the starting point for financial freedom.
So if you feel like you're in that rat race, working just to pay the bills, Kiyosaki argues this book can help you start thinking about breaking out.
It's a good catalyst for change.
Definitely. And maybe a final thought for you to chew on. How can you start looking at things in your life that take money out liabilities and maybe reframe them? Could they become opportunities to actually acquire or build more assets? Something to consider.